Hey everybody, welcome back to the Iron Tequila Podcast, where today we are continuing our series of the 5 truths that men need to hear now. And today we're going to be talking about the third truth.
Yep, third truth. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a skill. This is Tequila Poppy. I'm Jordan Martis. We're your hosts here. What we do here is pretty straightforward. We've got a decent amount of experience and we think somewhat deep. So, we'd love to help you with where you're struggling. And a lot of that actually is founded in your confidence.
It is. Confidence is one of those one of the key traits of successful men. But they're not born with it.
No,
they didn't come. Their success didn't come instantly, and their confidence. Their confidence didn't come.
So what was it? Chicken or egg?
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going. Okay. At this point, what we've been going through for our 5 keys has been taking responsibility, and the confidence isn't a feeling. Number 3 here is a little different than what we've gone through previously. And that there's a very specific reason for that. The circumstances we're facing internally are not the same as they are outside of us. Right?
Yeah.
And because of that, we deal with a totally different perspective, context, and world than we have external. Right? So in that regard, what we believe might not be the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, are there truths that you found in your life to be not true?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we kind of confidence is kind of a lie that's been sold to us,
right?
In the sense that society treats it like a magical or mythical trait.
Yeah.
That somehow you see the leading man in Hollywood or mainstream media. You see the leading man; he's brimming with confidence, and nobody really sees the behind the curtain work that it took for them to develop that confidence.
Yep. A lot of guys come to mind, like Steve Martin. Back in the 70s. If you don't know who he is, please go check him out. He's one of the greatest comedians in history, in my opinion. Extremely talented. He was one of those guys that he didn't have confidence until he spent years and years forming his craft, perfecting his craft.
Yeah.
You don't go to the majors. Well, okay, there's one guy who went straight from high school to the majors, baseball-wise, John Olerud. Extremely rare. How long does it take most men to gain the experience, the confidence, the balls, if you will, to actually go and put your own livelihood on the risk, on the line to risk,
confidence is actually, we've found that confidence is built over time. It's built, it has a compounding effect, and it's built through intentions, discipline, self-respect, and through experiential scars.
The experiential scars that just brought to mind, that's what we do. The forge that we're talking about, the iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, those concepts, if you aren't gaining experiences, might be one place to check your life and your approach and where you are in life. So, this lie that you talk about, tell me more. How has that been sold to us as a lie?
Well, I think, we see a lot of, let's say, leading men. Let's talk about leading men in Hollywood.
Okay.
Often you're watching a movie or a show.
Can we make it a little more broad? I don't watch movies hardly at all, but, is it okay if we make it like headliners, sports stars?
Oh, yeah.
That type of thing?
It could be. That's just one example that I was using. But
a local superstar?
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe?
Yeah. Okay. You see, but, by the time they've achieved their level of success, it's very easy to demonstrate confidence because they've got years worth of success,
decades
that they're standing on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so one of the questions we want to address today is, how do you get there from here? If you're someone who is, still in development, as we all are, and you haven't mastered that confidence piece yet, How do you get there without the experience, without years of training and discipline, and without all of those things that these sports stars or Hollywood actors might have, that then gives them the confidence?
Well, I think that might relate back to the lie that some people might interpret, that others might feel is not accurate, but that the world has taught us, society, and specifically first world nations, developed nations that are, I believe 4: Canada, U.S., Europe, and then Australia. Developed nations, right, where they have the technologies that are available. There's others, obviously, but those are the big ones. What we learn growing up in these societies is that if we don't have the fast car, if we don't have the girl, if we don't have the money, if we don't have the fame by the time we're 20 or 22 years old, we're told that we're not good enough, that we are broken and we will never succeed, right? And this is why the perpetuation of all the anxiety and the depression, that type of thing. It's a lie. It really is. When we believe that stuff, is there really any concern with a 22-year-old not having $1 million?
No, but it's a manifestation of the depression that you're talking about, and and the feeling of unworthiness, and you're not as good as the other guy.
Well, comparison is
the thief of joy.
The theft of joy. You got it. Absolutely, man. I don't know, man. That lie is something that each of us individually tend to believe in, because my perspective is not the same as yours, right? And so in the realm of context, where your perspective is a part, or yours or mine, that determines everything, right? And so eventually we've got to start to ask that question. Why is it that I'm not confident? Where do I get it?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where it starts. If you recognize the fact that you're lacking some confidence,
honesty, starting with honesty,
and you have a desire to become more confident. Maybe you have a mentor or a hero, someone you admire who has that confidence, and you want to acquire that skill. The first step in being able to develop it is to recognize that that's a goal. That's a personal goal of yours.
Yep. And then daily consistent action. We'll get some of the action steps a little later, but why don't we feel confident?
Well,
besides just not having experience.
I've got a theory. I've got a theory. I think, and I say this a lot on our podcast, soft times create hard men. Hard men create soft times, and soft times create soft men.
There you go.
We're in a period of society right now, a period of history, where we live in a soft society, and we have everything at the touch of our fingers. We have everything we need. We don't have to go out and plow fields. We don't have to go out and get up at 3 a.m. and go feed animals and do those types. No hunting and gathering happening that I've noticed lately.
There are some, but it's pretty rare.
But because we're living in such an easy time, an easy period of history, we no longer have the sharp edge of doing hard things. We're not learning from the challenges and difficulties that hard times force you to develop skills, force you to face challenges and overcome challenges, and therein that's what builds confidence. That's one of the things that helps build confidence. So we're not facing hard things these days. We're not doing hard things.
On the whole, that is absolutely accurate. There are a small percentage of people who live out, we're in Idaho, and so, you get out of town 15 or 20 minutes and you find people who are hardworking. So that is not to say that, you don't apply yourself. You don't have ambition. Yet, one of the guys that I like to follow, we've talked about a decent amount, named Gary Brecka. He was 20 years as a financial analyst for insurance companies, starting to understand, how they spent money on their claims. I forget what the term is for that immediately. Anyway, not an appraiser. Anyway, one of his tenets is we are today putting the aggressive pursuit of comfort above all else. right? I mean, how much more comfortable can we get in today's society? I mean, the standard of living is to where it's never been in society, ever, in the developed worlds. We bring that standard of living up from the bottom. That changes the world, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about today's application of your confidence, why we don't feel confident in certain circumstances, which applies to you.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
All
Applies
of
to
us,
me.
all of us,
right?
Have these shortcomings. Yeah.
At what age do we gain that?
Yeah. Well, it's a gradual process. It's a series of consistent commitments to build, just like building a muscle.
Yeah, it's a skill.
It's a skill. You have to nurture it. You have to feed it. You have to grow it, and it's done through consistency and intention. And like we were talking about before, avoiding hard things is one of the ways that we're losing confidence as men.
Yep.
Another way that we're losing confidence is comparison, and we touched on this already. But comparison is the thief of joy, and with social media, and all of the all of the different ways that we have access to, seeing how other people live, how they conduct their lives, and pursue their dreams. If you observe them, and then find yourself not meeting the same levels of success that they have, then it starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, wherein you're comparing yourself to them.
Right.
You see them on social media, on TV,
and that is probably not reality.
Yeah, and it's probably not reality, or if it may be their reality, it's not your reality.
Of course,
it could be your reality if you pursued the same path and developed the same habits and skills that those people that you're emulating developed.
Yeah.
Then that could be your truth. That could be your future.
Right. That reminds me of the concept of never taking advice from somebody who's not where you want to be.
Oh yeah, they're very solid right? Advice.
And that is the type of thing where standing on shoulders of giants can be borrowing confidence.
Yeah,
if you will, And this happens in the sports world quite a bit. In life, though. When you have a supporter, when you have somebody who is going to be on your side no matter what, and they're willing to tell you the truth, oftentimes this comes in the format of a significant other, right? Or a parent.
Your tribe, your group,
tribe, sometimes.
your group of friends and mentors, and if you surround yourself with good quality people, you're gonna leech off some of their good habits.
Right. So where's your friend group? That's part of the resource here of the process of improving yourself. And Alex Hormozy talks about this. Jordan Peterson talks about this. A lot of people are adamant that who you surround yourself with will become your future.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself, garbage in, garbage out. Is the
birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, all the sayings, right? Yeah. But when it comes down to it, borrowing their confidence is only the beginning.
That's part of that first step, is recognizing that maybe you're lacking in that skill set and you'd like to develop it. And so what do? You go out, you surround yourself with people who already have that skill set,
right?
And by proxy, you end up acquiring.
Osmosis is what we call
osmosis,
it.
Yeah.
In high school, when you fall asleep on your textbook, I'm studying. It's osmosis.
I'm absorbing the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So that actually leads us into a good point. The next step here in the process of acquiring confidence.
Mm-hmm.
What are the technical aspects of actually how to build confidence? Right? We can borrow from other people, but that's just a small portion of what we need if we're going to actually have the cojones to go after what we want in life, what you want in your life.
Yeah. So and that starts with confidence isn't built in your head. It's not it's not handed to you. It's developed. It's a skill, just like any other skill. That's built through action, and it's often you'll find confidence where your actions meet the standards that you've set for yourself.
That's a great point. Where your results exceed what you expect.
Yeah.
right? Is that where confidence is built?
Absolutely.
It's probably not built before expectations are met, I wouldn't think.
Well, I mean, you can begin that process, and again, the nature of confidence being built is gradual,
right?
And so it can begin there, and cumulative. Yeah, there's a cumulative effect. So I always like to say, wins beget other wins.
Yes, they do.
I personally found myself in challenging times, and discovered that one small win puts you on a path for winning.
Momentum.
And you gain momentum.
You got it.
So that's one of the critical things that takeaways from this show is to start small. Start just a single win, small win every day, consistently. Will help build the confidence.
I forget the gentleman's name. I want to say a Navy commander in the Navy. Somewhere in there.
I gave a speech at a college commencement
Make
speech.
Your bed. Is when you get up, when does your day start? In fact, there's a lot of people who claim that today started last night because my sleep is incorporated with today.
Started your process.
My daughter, I've been going through this. My girlfriend and I have been going through this. It's like, where is our time spent that's most valuable to us? And where are the places we can eliminate that type of thing and increase it in other productivity places?
That is
I mean, we're getting a little off topic, but it's still, this relates directly to building confidence.
That's actually a great point, because I see a lot of men, especially younger men these days, who are wasting their time on activities that don't help them develop skills. Confidence being one of those skills. But if you're spending your time on bad habits, if you have addictions to alcohol, drugs, pornography, things like that, will erode your confidence.
Absolutely.
As well.
The food, how we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, if you're lazy and you lack motivation, you can't get up and do anything, start with one step, get up and do one push-up.
Build, and we don't, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Rome wasn't built in a day, all of these concepts. But all of those things were started by eliminating what is not in the path.
What's standing in your way of meeting your goals? What's standing in your way?
You have to take that apart. If you don't, start to disassemble your time. So where do you spend your time? Where do we spend our time? We've spent months preparing for this. We're a handful of episodes in here. We were talking before we got started here. One of the things that Tequila Poppy and I have been challenged with, some of the big challenges to confidence. And the one that was immediate for you and I was starting this. Neither of us have any experience in this.
No.
Right? Zero. Right? We've never been on camera. We've never been professional actors. I've done a small amount of speaking and leadership stuff, and you have as well. You've been in sales for a long time.
Yeah.
So we're not unfamiliar. Yet this is. Man, how much confidence do we have in the first couple of these that we put together?
Again, it was a process of building some confidence, and we started with a plan. We started with small wins.
Yep. And every day, we've been doing this virtually every day.
Yeah.
Right? For at least the last couple months. Prior to that, it was still formulation of what we're doing, right?
Conceptualizing.
Exactly.
Yeah, planning.
One of the other aspects here that in the process of building is to track the growth. Right? Where are we today? Where are you today? Where did we start today?
Yeah.
We have a little bit longer outlook than I think most younger generations do. And this is where I think experience is valuable. We're taking a 2-year outlook here. We're going to be around for quite a while. After a couple of years, if things haven't worked out, then it might be time to readjust.
Might take a break.
Right? But, I really don't see that happening, because what we're doing here, when we're talking about confidence and you gaining some skills, oh man, my skin just starts to tingle talking about these things where, it's like my child. I'm trying to give her the conceptualization, the context where, you look down the road in 5 years where you started today on building a skill set of, I don't care what the hell it is, sales, right? Personal relationships, human resources, who knows where you're going to end up. Follow your passion. You don't build confidence internally. Yeah. Internal is just a cycle of the same thing repeated again and again and again and again, right? We build confidence externally. So how you do that, right? You got to have some sort of tracking mechanism. If you got it, if you don't have a tracking mechanism, you're not going to know how far you've come.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
So, what are some of the methods you like to employ to track?
Yeah, good question. I have a 365 on the calendar. I'll see if I can find the link for that too. The gentleman who has that, Jesse Insler. Anyway, I have a 365-day calendar on the wall. Every single day that's there that I get to write on and mark down. Recently, I've been doing my weight, because I've been struggling with sweets. It's a challenge for me, right? So I don't have the confidence in myself to have sweets in the house, and talking about confidence, and not eat them. In fact, right now I'm on the last leg of my 3-day fast that I've been doing with my girlfriend, and man, it's a little weird. If you've never been through a fast, it's interesting.
Well, you know what? Fasting is a great example of one of the skills that we're talking about. We're talking about how to build confidence, and one of the strategies is to do hard things. Fasting is a hard thing.
For fun? Yeah, hell yeah, it is.
I don't want to do that, but you think about some of the other things that you can do to not avoid hard things. We need to challenge ourselves. So we need to go to the gym.
Well, those are promises we make to ourselves.
Yeah.
Going to the gym. Who else disciplines you to do that?
Nobody. It has to come internally. You have to find the motivation internally.
Right.
And how do you start that? Just like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
Yeah. Find some way to motivate yourself to take step one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter what, just do it. And even if you have to break down step 1 into 10 steps, right? Jordan Peterson talks about this. Mm-hmm. As long as you break down your big giant goal, big hairy ass goal, BHAGs, I don't know if you remember those or not. Not really relevant much anymore, although they are in a way. You start to break those down, and to be able to keep those promises to yourself. How little can it be, right? And that's really, really challenging, because we've got to take our own ego and set it aside and say, this is beneath me. Well, is it?
If it is, should it be?
Should it be?
Yeah.
Right.
Ask yourself that.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with being at a stage in life where you've got to start over. You've done it.
Oh, I've done it.
I've done it, and it is
painful.
Sometimes miserable.
It is painful.
Yeah, painful.
It's a difficult process.
It is, absolutely. So when you're in a new circumstance, please use this, how to build your confidence. Expect that you're not going to have much, and it might take a little while, and you might feel like an idiot for a little while.
Yeah. But again, if you pursue those uncomfortable periods of your life, if you pursue one win at a time, one victory becomes another victory, and pretty soon you make a switch in your mind to a winning mindset, and then you're on the path. And we talked about momentum, developing and building momentum on those wins, and those go a long way to help you develop confidence.
Man, the biggest challenge I think with a lot of that is consistency.
Absolutely.
And being able to do it day after day. So, what are some of the challenges? This is a good way to transition into what are some of the challenges in the death sentence to confidence, progression, and growth?
Well, I think a lack of personal self-motivation.
Okay.
Is one of the challenge.
That's a whole monster unto itself.
We'll do another episode on that.
Cool. Thank you.
But certainly lacking personal accountability, personal responsibility, lacking motivation.
Yep.
You probably have some bad habits that you need to break. Mm-hmm. These are all challenges that are going to get in your way and erode your confidence and prevent you from even starting to rebuild your confidence.
So you're saying that the philosophical level is one of, where does my motivation come from, right? Who am I as a person?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that we can do at like a surface level that are, but what are some of the things that kill confidence at a surface level as opposed to the internal beliefs, values, and principles?
Well, I think things like lying to ourselves, not being honest with ourselves. A lot of us walk through life just lying to ourselves, telling us that we're good enough, or maybe it's from an external source, but other people telling you maybe you're not good enough. But procrastination, procrastination's if you're always late, you never show up on time, and people can't count on you. Your employer can't expect you to be there on time. If you've got these kind of bad habits, if you're always leading with emotions, if you're impulsive, if you lack the ability to self-regulate, self-control,
discipline, and the stick-to-itiveness that it takes to actually move through and complete something, that a person is committed to.
Another thing I've seen a lot throughout my life is, and I know you've seen this, especially in sports. Having spent a lifetime in baseball at very high level, competition levels. A lot of people quit when things get hard. You've seen the guy on your team who just refuses to rise to the occasion. I've seen that in my military. Saw that a lot in the military. You could quickly identify the member of the team who lacks the fortitude or the resiliency to continue on when things are getting hard.
They have a limit. Self-imposed limits.
Self-imposed limits, And that's actually one of the skills that the military was instrumental in teaching me. Was the ability to push through when you're uncomfortable and you're tired and you're hungry
and you don't want to do it.
You're just cold and you don't want to do it. You don't want to do hard things.
You're ready to stand up and tell your CO, not CO, but the
your platoon sergeant,
you're ready to give them a big finger. And if you do that, you might be there for another 6 hours. So the discipline that you figure out is you don't give them the finger. You might want to.
But you buckle down. You pull your big boy pants up. And you drive forward.
Resiliency is something that we'll have more episodes on resiliency as well. That's one of our major tenets here is, how to come back from what seems to be the end of life.
How do you recover from that?
Yeah, right. Okay, well, are there any real world examples that you have in your life that I have in mind, something personal that we could apply here that people might be able to relate to before we finish up?
Boy, I can go back and I'll use this example a lot throughout our podcast as a personal life example. But when I went through my divorce 10 years ago, I spent almost 22 years or so in married life. And had the rug ripped out from under me one day. And that cut the confidence I had down to nothing.
Immediately.
Instantaneously. I lost my house, my family, my career, my every bit of financial stability, and was this close to living in my car. I went and ended up moving in with a friend for a couple of months. But that began the journey of having to ask myself these hard questions like, who am I? Where do I go from here? And I had zero confidence. Because I was facing the biggest hardship in life with that something I had never gone through before on that level. And absolutely zero life experience to draw upon to figure it out. Do you have a personal life example that you'd like to share with us, Jordan, on how confidence has affected
you
absolutely.
In life? Remember when I was a little kid, my dad and I played baseball a lot. We didn't really have any experience in Little League or anything yet, and I was going out for my first tryouts. And the previous month or so, we had been working on some things, my dad and I didn't realize how the practice, the working on the hitting,
the repetition,
just every day, little tiny wins every day. When I got to tryouts, instead of pitching, they had a machine right? And so it was a consistent pitch every single time, essentially down the middle, which was not what my dad was feeding me. Hit it out there.
It's a little inconsistent, probably.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so when I got to tryouts, it was a pleasant surprise that my confidence was already built. And I didn't know about this. I was like 6 years old. No clue about this development. My dad did, which is why we had done what we had. And so when I got to tryouts, it was like, pretty easy hitting the ball. It's in the same spot every single time. If you right back at the coach who was feeding him, and it's pretty obvious at that point that I had some skills, and it's like, it's not an ego thing. It happened, right? And so it was just a really fun experience to understand that I could build confidence without even knowing it as a child. And then that leads into the questions of what does it take to do as an adult? What does it take to do in areas that I'm not energized about, that don't interest me?
Well, I think that's a pretty good example of how consistency and repetition,
the little stuff,
just
little
like
wins.
Working out in the gym, you don't start building muscle the first time, but with that consistency, over the course of time, you develop the skill set that then leads you to have confidence to continue building it.
And there's the spiral again.
Right? The self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got it, man. Well, that's a pretty good wrap on our podcast today. And what do we, let's go kind of finalize and go through.
Let's summarize what we talked about today. And ultimately like we talked about, confidence is one of those skills that is forged in fire. It's forged in challenges. It's forged in hardship. And if you constantly avoid them or neglect seeking out opportunities to develop a skill and do hard things, you're going to continue the cycle of lacking confidence that comes with mastering a skill.
Lying to ourselves is a big one, and that is really believing the lies that society has brought to us. That you're not good enough, that you don't have the skills, that you don't have the evidence. So the time spent early on is in creating evidence, like you said, having little wins, having consistencies every single day.
You got to stack those wins too.
Stacked every single day.
Every little win stacks on top of the other one.
It's nothing we want to get into immediately, but when we miss those days, that consistency fails, we don't just start over. We actually erode what we've built and reinforce what we've already, what we've been trying to supplant.
Think about a skill that you maybe worked on. Maybe at some point in your life you worked to develop a skill, and maybe after 6 months or so you started to master it. And then you took a break from doing that. I used to do competitive shooting. And was getting, every time I did it, I became better and better. And then I've taken a few years off now. If I went and hit the range, I probably would not have any confidence in my skills because they rust and they erode without that consistency.
And it's the fine tuning, the last 10 to 20% that goes away very quickly. It's just athletics, shooting, doesn't matter. Your relationship with your significant other. If we're not in tune with those things, they're going to slip.
If you're not working on them constantly.
And that is maintaining confidence in the situation.
Maintaining proficiency.
Okay, so we went through why we don't feel confident.
Well, I think it's a matter of bad habits. We've gotten complacent. We've gotten comfortable. We've developed some bad habits. Maybe we have some addictions or things that are distracting us from building a better version of ourselves, whether it's alcoholism, pornography, video games.
We'll get into that next time too.
We will get into that. That's leading us up to our next segment. But we are creations of our own habits. And if you're developing bad habits, you will become a bad habit.
Right.
If you're working constantly on developing good habits, you will become good habits. You will become a product of your good habits.
Right. It's always funny to hear these axioms, if you will, but you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And mentally,
you are what you think. Garbage in, garbage out. If you're constantly feeding your brain,
Yep.
Garbage.
And that leads directly to how you build it.
Yeah.
Every single day, consistency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The do hard things, keep your promises, stop talking, actually take action. It's one of our major tenets here. Another one, do something.
Get your ass off the couch.
It doesn't matter what you do either.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young. If you're 15, 20, 25 years old, it's irrelevant.
Start by making your bed. Start by
Go
cleaning your room.
Get a job doing something.
Yeah.
Who cares? It does not matter
Yeah.
what it is. It matters that you are taking action today, right? And then track it. Figure out where you are and where you want to be. Pretty simple process, yet not everybody does it because it's not easy.
Well, and that's why we're here. We're here to help guide you and encourage you and mentor you to doing those hard things. Get off your ass and do it.
Yep.
And, the other thing I wanted to talk about too was how fear affects a lot of people's confidence. And it limits their successes because it's kind of human nature. Our fight or flight mechanisms will kick in when we sense fear.
Yep.
And a lot of people will quit, they'll give up, they'll avoid, procrastinate, create excuses. Yeah, because oftentimes it's fear-based. And so you've got to be willing to confront fear. And we all face fear. We all have fears. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not the fact that you had fear that makes you fearful.
Right.
It's if you cower in the corner
don't
and
face it.
Stay sitting on the couch, engaged in activities that don't make you a better man. That's when fear's getting in the way. So take the fear, chuck it in your backpack on your journey.
Yep.
And plow.
Yep.
Forge forward.
Grab life by the balls.
That's right.
There's no other way to do it, and one day, if you haven't done this before, one day, I know you recall a lot of these major wins. One day, the major win will come, right? And you don't know when they're going to come. Life is very interesting. The corners that you turn will not present you with the circumstances that you thought it would.
Yeah, and what happens when that one big win comes?
Oh, man.
The next one's right around the corner.
Yes, it is, as long as momentum is maintained.
Yeah, you got to keep momentum. And
so
momentum
important.
comes from consistency.
Of building confidence every single day.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's a good talk on building confidence. The third tenet, the third segment in our series of 5 truths that men need to hear now. Next week, we're going to be talking about the fourth one. The fourth one, kind of, we touched a little bit about it today.
Yep.
Because the fourth one is soul crushing. It's killing a lot of confidence, is killing the opportunity to be successful.
Yep.
The fourth one is porn, booze, junk food, comfort, and complacency are killing your edge. So if you're numbing yourself, might feel it like a relief. Yeah, distractions. They're a temporary relief, but it's also a slow road to self-destruction.
Yep.
And you got to get honest about your habits. You got to start creating new healthy habits, and you've got to, in order to do that, you've got to make room in your life for new habits by discarding.
Elimination.
And stepping away from some of those old bad habits.
Makes me think of a Lou Gehrig story, listening to a book by Ryan Holiday. Anyway, Discipline, I think, is the way. Anyway, it might be one of his others. But Lou Gehrig had an off day, and he, back at that time in the 1920s, it was commonplace to grab a little drink in between innings, to figure out how to take your edge off. And he
kind of player.
He did that. And a coach sat him down and very specifically said, if you lead down this path, if you choose to walk down this path, this is where you will end up. And he was able to give examples because it was a commonplace thing back then, So those distractions, they're there, and they will never stop. Okay, well, that's what we're going to go into next week. join us, please.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you back here on the Iron Tequila Podcast. Jordan and I will see you next week.